Hello, welcome to another Daily Digest video. I'm Merriam. Today, I'm playing a deck that, based on this opening hand, may seem normal, but it is anything but. It is a sort of green-white mid-range Eldritch Evolution deck. This one does have Devoted Druid and Vizier of Remedies for that combo, also has Quarter Calling, but it also has another neat combo with Eldritch Evolution, one that people tried out shortly after the card was printed, and that is Allosaurus Riders, a creature that you can cast for free by removing 2 green cards from your hand from the game, exiling them, and cost 7 mana. So if you manage to, say, play this Utopia Sprawl on turn 1, and then I draw an Allosaurus Riders, I can cast it immediately, then evolution it away and get a 9-drop or smaller, of which in this deck there is Elishnorn and Iona, the 2 most common ones, cards that can end the game on the spot. I also kind of like the way this deck chose its mana accelerants as Utopia Sprawl, Arbor Elf, along with Devoted Druid. Druid seems obvious because it is part of the combo, or has a combo associated with it in a deck with a bunch of tutors, but those are also just the 2 most robust mana acceleration packages, and the deck has a lot of high drops because of the Allosaurus Riders, so you can just naturally cast them pretty easily if you get your mana engine going. Which hopefully we will. This hand is fine. It's not super explosive unless we draw the Riders, but we do have a turn 1 mana accelerant, and then the next turn we'll get to play another one and ooze, and then if we draw another land, we'll just play a turn 3 Sigarda, which is pretty nice. So we'll just ooze into Sigarda. That's our ho-hum draw. Opponent mulls to 6 and scries to the top. How nice of them. So I'm going to sprawl this basic forest. Always want to sprawl a basic in case of Blood Moon or Tech Edge or Field of Ruin. And we'll definitely choose white. I'm torn as to what to do with this Verdant Catacombs. If I don't draw another land next turn, the most conservative with our life total is to get a forest. We also need to get a green source in order to sprawl the untapped land, and we definitely want to stack up on 1 land, because that's better with Arbor Elf. Unless our opponent shows us the potential to have Stone Rain in their deck, or Ghost Quarter, we'll do that. Otherwise, we'll diversify. Does not affect our accelerating at this point, but it could affect mana output in the future. Okay, Basic Mountain is probably not a threat to deal with our... Oh, baby! Oh, yes. Okay, we're going to want to run this fetching first. Oh, and our opponent played Basic Mountain. They might just feel like a burn deck. Or a Scred Red. But Basic Mountain is a mono red deck a large portion of the time. So we're definitely getting Iona and naming red. I'm going to remove the Utopia Sprawl. So I want to get a Temple Garden. If our opponents burn, then they're just dead here anyway. So let's ACC. Definitely wanted to fetch first in case my opponent had a bolt. If I play Riders and fetch and they bolt in response, I look foolish. But now there's going to be no window for them to do anything. So definitely leave myself with the castable card, I would assume. Or like the castable card that sort of does something. And let's give them the business. Oh, yes, we are doing it. Is this good? Let's get this one. Name red. Whew. My opponent just slams down like Basic Plains Path your Iona. Nice job. That would be a tilt. That would be a 4-for-1, basically. I guess I'd get a basic out of it. So 4-for-2. Oh, Basic Mountain still not going to do a whole lot. Did you not read the Iona? You're playing a Mind Stone? Ratchet Bomb is going to be a little bit too slow. Okay, I think they went to go cast a spell without really reading my Iona, and then they read it. Oh, this deck is great. Okay, I'm going to assume our opponent is a burn deck of some kind, and bring in cards that are good against them. And that means these two. It also means my Elish Norn is probably not so good. And Eternal Witness is probably... This Sigard is probably not very good. I don't... Scavenging Ooze is okay against Burn because life gain's fine, but it's not great. We already have one here. We have a better life gain card to tutor for in Thragtusk. I think this is fine. I don't really want... Oh, there's an Obstinate Bailiff here. Okay, well, let's definitely bring that one in. Is that just better than Pelucranos here? Might be that I don't want Eternal Witness or a Voice or something like that. Voice is usually pretty... Oh, somebody... Voice is usually pretty good against Burn in more aggressive decks, because it's nice to get the block and then the turnaround, but we're not really that interested in that. Though we are interested in having some fodder for Eldritch Evolution. And Cord. So I don't really want to cut cheap things. The Ronis are a win condition, so I can't, with this combo, so I can't cut that. Maybe I'm supposed to cut one of these just expensive cards like a Cord. It makes it harder to combo, but it's going to be hard to combo against them anyway, and this card can just get stuck in my hand. Todd, shut up. That was Todd Stevens. I forgot to turn my phone off. Usually I do before I do these things. Opponent mulligan again. What does our hand do? We're on like turn 1 Sprawl, turn 2 Devoted Druid, and we win the game on a lot of draws if we just untap with those things, right? We're going to have 4 mana, so any 1 mana creature, and we can evolution for the Vizier with that, and then Eternal Witness back the evolution, turn the Eternal Witness into Ronis and kill them. So this is probably a keep. I don't think you can mulligan hands that do that. Like, if we just draw some lands, I mean, we might just go Sprawl into Think, something like that. Set up the combo a little bit slower. I'm just not super happy about my 1 land being Temple Garden. That's it. Face right to the top again on another mulligan to 6. And another basic mountain. Oh, probably a burn deck. Voice not the best draw. It does mean we win in 2 turns and we draw the land and go for the turn 2 Devoted Druid route, but we're probably going to have to Kitchen Finks on 2. Oh, we can't Kitchen Finks on. We need a land to Kitchen Finks? Okay, that's fine. So pay 2 life. I'm going to name green off of this because I have a bunch of double green cards in my hand, so if I draw a basic Plains or colorless land, I won't be Scrooged. Okay, our opponent is Goblins. That is a much better matchup for us, and Cord is not great. Kind of want to just go for the Druid. Oh, I guess we sort of have to do that. It's either that or Voice, and this just has so much more upside. If we draw a land, they just lose the game. They do know we have Cord, so maybe I assume they have some removal spells in after board. Usually, Goblins has bolts and grenades in the main. You probably have something else in the sideboard. But I'm also just okay with them taking a turn to do this, while I can draw some lands. And then, because if I can set up with some mana, then I can just Eternal Witness back the Devoted Druid later. Please just be some stupid goblin. Another pile driver? Sure. I mean, if we don't draw land, we might just be dead next turn, but I guess we'll play Voice and have 2 blockers up. Yeah, or actually, if we play Finks, we have 2 blockers up too. We can just untap the Druid. Though that would cost us a mana, which isn't great. Oh, Iona. Well, that's not a good draw. Um, definitely not a good one. Yeah, I'm just going to get the Finks in. Yeah, and the only reason I would have to untap this is if I have to block with it, it's going to die anyway. So the untap actually isn't that devastating. Whereas this extra life might be the difference in whether or not I have to block. So, that's really good. Am I dead? Yeah, I might be. So I took a risky line here and got punished by not drawing a land, but I think it was the best line to win. I don't like they probably just don't attack last turn for 5 and make this gigantic attack. And so these are both not these are both 10s. So this is 27. So and I can only prevent 3 of it. So taking 24. Yeah, that's not enough. Yeah. So even if I guess if I go voice into Finks, then I have 3 blockers, but so I would have 5 more life and can prevent 2 more of it. But I'm going to negative 13 here, so I could just go to negative 6 instead. So yeah, that just doesn't do a whole lot. And I actually I wouldn't have even been able to Finks. I would have just had voice plus devoted druid. Yeah, this was definitely a line that gave me a shot to win, but let's see if I would have drawn the land. And then we'll get to game 3 here. Oh, clicking all their creatures individually. Putting the Goblin Guy trigger on the stack there. Thragtusk, wow, that was not a good series of draws. Yeah, still had all these. Okay, well, our opponent is goblins. Do I want to bring in this Eidolon of Rhetoric to make Reckless Bushwhacker bad? Doesn't seem like the worst. Probably cut like one of these. I wonder if I'm... Oh, Elish Norn is also like absurd against them. I wonder if I'm just supposed to not have this in. Obviously we did it. It was insane in that game, but instead, I mean, we could just bring in some early things and paths and basically never lose, and just worship them or something like that. I guess we probably don't need this. This deck looks like I basically can never lose to a deck that's trying to attack a bunch. I definitely want the path. Legion Loyalist is their big card to attack through a big board, and so if we're just able to path that, our creatures are going to dominate. I also don't even think I need Ronus. If I infinite them with Duskwatch Recruiter, I'm just going to draw most of my deck and then Polukranos their entire board away and play an Elish Norn. And I mean, how are they going to win? I guess if we set up a combo at a really low life total and have already used our Burnt Forge Tender and they have a burn spell, we might lose. But we also can gain a bunch of life with this Ooze and Baloth and Thragtusk and Kitchen Finks. So yeah, this seems fine. And this is 60. So yeah, it's not flashy, but we don't need to be flashy in this matchup. We just need to not have a game like that where we don't really play Magic. I will play first. Well, Forge Tender seems good. This Elish Norn is not, especially with the evolution. Like, we want to evolution into it. Now we can't. But we do have a Mana Accelerant. Evolution will be good if we draw almost anything. Worst case scenario, I'm just going to sack this Forge Tender and get like a... Oh, I can like sack the Forge Tender, get Eternal Witness, replay Forge Tender, that kind of thing. But then the Eternal Witness doesn't do much. This seems good enough. We have a pretty defined plan. Man, our opponent mulliganed again. We're getting lucky. It's going to look really bad when I lose. Okay, scry to the top once again. So let's get this forest and sprawl it and name white. It's good to run afoul of a haste creature that maybe I'd be able to block, but I'd be taking a ton of damage. At least one, if not two more. Whoa. That is very, very low on the list of cards I expected them to play that turn. Okay, then. I mean, yeah, get rid of this mana, play my Forge Tender. Land was obviously not a good draw, but... Okay, they just have a weird mana base. I wonder what they're splashing black for. It's definitely a budget mana base. That one is not good against Burnt and Forge Tender. And neither is that one. So definitely not evolutioning this card away. Unless I'm just getting Eternal Witness, but Witness is really bad against Loyalist, at least for the first attack, so let's hope I draw something reasonable here. And even Devoted Druid would be fine. So if I draw Devoted Druid, then I just get to get Vizier with the Forge Tender, flip with 2 white available, and just play the Elesh Norn. That's as good as winning the game. That's interesting. I don't think I need to do anything with it. I am going to sack this in case I draw something I want to cast. Let's sack it floating green. Okay, well I can cast the Polukranos next turn, and that'll probably be good enough. I'll have a path to interact here and then just play a giant thing. Maybe they'll Goblin Grenade it, but that's still just a 2-for-1 when I have most of their board checked. I guess I get to sack the Raging Goblin. This is usually the turn they set up to do something powerful. A Goblin Guide is an okay start, I guess. And then a Bushwhacker. Yeah, sure. Well, I'm going to let the Goblin Guide trigger happen and then path the Goblin Guide and block the Legion Loyalist and take 4. Or I guess 5. This is going to trample over for 1. That's still fine. The goal here will probably be to try to stay above 10 and maybe stay above 11 to play around combinations of burn spells. But I'm only going to deal 1 more to myself. Oh, maybe 0 more. Yeah, so we want to path this. Okay. And then block. Go to 14 here. Yeah. And play Polukranos. And I do not see them winning this game. Didn't even need this Eldritch Evolution. Oh, I even have the BFT to prevent 1 burn spell too. I missed that. So, yeah, basically nothing they're going to be able to do here. I'm just going to Polukranos their team and attack for probably just 7. Sure. Still just want to deal with their creatures in case they have some ridiculous combination to go super wide. X equals 2. Goblin Grenade's a sorcery, so don't have to worry about that. They could have double bolt here, but I'll just prevent one of them. Then it would be 3. Yeah, my Polukranos then wouldn't even die, because it would be a 7/7 to 3 damage on it and take 3 in this fight. So they would just have nothing, and I'd still have a 7/7. But we'll play around a haste creature, dealing us some amount of damage. Yeah, they're done. Okay. Not seeing a lot of the deck. Obviously, like I knew they could be goblins going into game 2, but burn is more likely. Maybe not if they didn't play a 1-drop, but goblins is also very likely to play a 1-drop. So I thought they also might just be like a Scred red kind of deck. Um, that's kind of likely. So I don't know what red 2-drop they would be trying to play. Either way, I mean, the green-white creature decks have been really good against red creature decks for about 20 years. So um, pretty easy win there. But you got to see some of the most powerful draw in game 1. That's what I'm happy about. The turn 2 Iona against the monocolor deck. That is nice. Just nice. And we would have probably won game 2 easily if just drew a land, which is pretty likely. But that's a lesson in sort of how to sideboard in a matchup that you think is really good. You just board out your sort of high variance elements because you really don't need to be at your 10 out of 10 draws to win. You just need to raise your floor, and if you have to lower your ceiling to do that, that's fine. That's what I did. Didn't even have that great of a hand there in game 3 and still won very, very easily. Anyway, that is going to be it for me today, and you can come back and see me on Friday. Bye.